Adem Kassie Abebe is an advisor on constitution building and governance at the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, and he joins us now live from The Hague. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. As I mentioned earlier, Abiy Ahmed is a Nobel Peace Prize winner for ending decades of border conflict with neighboring Eritrea. Why is it so hard for him and his government to reach a peace agreement with the Tigrayan forces?
Thank you very much for having me. Peace, like war, requires two parties, and so putting the blame only on Abiy Ahmed, I think, is not accurate. And in fact, in the latest drive for peace led by the U.S. Special Envoy Feltman and the African Union Special Envoy Olusegun Obasanjo, the federal government was more willing. They had in the past refused to engage, but this time they were more open. But according to the spokesperson of the TPLF, they have put on several preconditions which are impossible, virtually impossible to comply with, including the departure of Abiy Ahmed. Yes, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace between Ethiopia and Eritrea. But you cannot have peace if you do not have a country. And what he's trying to show is that he considers this particular conflict very, very serious, and he has shown, at least in the latest move, some willingness to engage, but the preconditions that the TPLF has put out have made peace impossible, at least at this stage.
Right, he definitely is serious, given the fact that he's saying that he's going to be leading in the battlefield against the TPLF. Do you really think he's going to go to the front lines?
I cannot really say so. What I can say that it would be an extremely dangerous move that not only leaves potential political vacuum in Addis Ababa. If anything were to happen, that would lead to a collapse of the federal government and potentially the military. So I think it is a bold move. It's also a very, very dangerous move to take. But again, I think the intention for me is that peace must come, but it cannot come without both parties, without the willingness of both parties to make concessions, to make sacrifices. And so far, the federal government was hesitant, but in the latest draft, there has been more openness to that. But at the moment, the Tigrayan forces seem like they have the momentum, that they have the upper hand. And they have put very, very difficult preconditions.
Right. There's also some video clips on social media of Tigrayan forces capturing Ethiopian troops. How true are those pictures, and why haven't federal forces been able to halt the advances of the Tigrayan rebels to Addis Ababa?
I think they're probably accurate. There may be some exaggeration of the numbers. But most of the prisoners of war that the Tigrayans have captured were actually captured in Tigray when the war was in Tigray, and since then it's not accurate, or it's not that they have managed to continue their control and their capture of soldiers. But most of the soldiers that they have captured were actually captured when the war was in Tigray. You're also right that in one of the fronts, at least, there are three big fronts. In the Afar, the east, and then in Gondar and Wolkite in the west, and then the center in Wollo and Shewa. And in that middle front, the Tigrayan force have been quite successful. But in the other two fronts, they have actually suffered defeats and pushbacks. So overall, I think it continues to be a stalemate. The war is really a stalemate. And my sense is that despite the mobilization that Abiy's deployment may entail, it's unlikely to change the nature of the conflict as a stalemate.
All right.
So they would have to negotiate. They would have to negotiate.
Definitely. It all comes down to negotiations. Adem Kassie Abebe, I'd like to speak about this for a couple more minutes, but unfortunately I'm out of time. Thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour.